Hi everyone, welcome to this final session of this series. So it's the fourth video for our Alla Prima still life painting course. So if you've watched all of them in sequence, you'll have seen it kind of emerge slowly, well, reasonably quickly I suppose. And in this final video we're just going to be kind of tightening things up a bit, adding kind of some slighter kind of nice little details. Maybe reinforcing some of the lights and darks just to make it pop a little bit more. And the first thing I'm going to look at is just this. I want to get this beak really nicely refined because I'm fairly happy with the skull. There's a bit more to do on it, but it's not too bad. But I feel like particularly like the boundary of the edge of the beak against the background could be a bit stronger. So let's just try to crispen that up a bit. It's already looking a little bit better, less fuzzy than it was. We'll work our way up into these shadows as well, but I'm going to need to use one of my darker colours for that. Obviously we don't want to disrupt the shadow too much. So get that to blend in with the lighter paint I just added. That's not too bad. So that's fairly nicely sorted now, the beak, but we can go in and just start to add some of the overlaps between sort of reflected lights in the bone. the lighter side of this beak. So there is just an ever so slight kind of highlight on the edge of it. It doesn't go that bright. It doesn't go as light as the lighter parts of the bone, obviously. But it is apparent, so we want to give a bit of a sense of it. Also the sort of glow that comes through. The center of the beak. I'm losing a bit of light here, so I'm just going to adjust my settings a bit. Should be a little bit better. Suddenly darkened off, but we're nearly done with it. This is one of the downsides of working Alla Primas. You're kind of, well, certainly if you're working by daylight like I am, you are somewhat limited by how rapidly you lose light or how much the light changes and so on. A bit like landscape painting, really. So you get really nice light effects, but then they can disappear partway through, which is what they're starting to do now. So we'll crack on with this as much as possible. So I'm just using my small brush, going in and just working these little details. So I'm not making massive changes, just little tiny adjustments. So I'm just using my brush to soften some of these transitions up here. They're a bit abrupt. And in this instance, softening just helps to turn the form a little bit more. Now I'm going to go back to some pretty much pure white again. So I want to boost some of these highlights. The points where the skull is catching a lot of light, so it's becoming quite a lot brighter. they're working a lot better than the last time I added them in. Just because everything's a bit better established now. So you can do some of these kind of lacier, kind of like lace sections behind. Touch on the top there. So you can see at this stage I'm just kind of working backwards and forwards, lighter and darker values. So I'm mainly looking at this stage just at edges, so trying to either sharpen edges or soften them. So I want to make it a bit more pronounced. Separation there, for instance, between the beak and the whiter part of the skull. And then also just enhancing contrast some parts of this skeletal section at the top, because we've got a mixture of some sections are sort of reflected light shining through because it's quite a transparent material bone. And some sections are receiving light directly. And depending on what's happening, that kind of alters the hue of the surface. So you tend to get glowing through the bone is more kind of yellow, warmer colours. And the surface is being lit cooler. But it's getting very close now. To completion. just playing backwards and forwards. Between these darker colours and these lighter colours. And just building towards something as accurate as possible from this subject that I can achieve. So I recommend when you do it, try to keep it manageable. So this is a pretty small, it's complex, but it's quite a small little subject, which means it's not too much. You know, in a single session, it's possible to get this done. But if you are working bigger, you can always kind of make your brushwork a bit bigger, a bit broader, like I was saying earlier. I could be doing something bigger and using a bigger brush, basically, which is fine too. I'd say generally slightly easier if you kind of keep your subject quite small though. I'm just going to go through and put a few final little highlights across the skull, particularly on this left hand side obviously, because that's where a lot of the direct light is hitting. So yeah, I think I'm gonna just about keep fiddling a bit, but I'm gonna leave it here roughly. So yeah, not looking too bad. And that's it for this series. So there's 4 videos just covering this this Alla Prima still life. Hopefully interesting for you guys, and I hope you enjoy having a go at it yourself. It's a fun little project, something you can do multiple of them as well. I mean, they only take literally a few hours to do, like 3 or 4 hours probably if you're working by daylight, but they're a really great exercise to learn a lot. and you can get some really nice results at the end of them. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys for the next session. We'll be doing something different. As always, you can subscribe on here and watch all our videos, or you can click the link through to OCAD's page in order to sign up and be able to get tuition from myself and a bunch of other specialist tutors in all sorts of art. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys soon.